Hi guys, Jared here with Day Traders FX. I hope you're having a great day. I wanted to spend a few minutes and look at the setups happening specifically on the Australian dollar and have us be ready for that because it looks like there's a couple of good pips to have. Just quickly, as far as news goes today, for the rest of the day we have a little bit of New Zealand news coming up, so just keep that in mind. And we have some Chinese news in a couple of hours. And remember, anything Chinese typically has a pretty decent effect on the Aussie dollar. As far as going into tomorrow, we have some nice news announcements in the morning, middle of the night, and early morning. So we'll keep an eye on that. Trade balance for the U.S., new home sales, two goodies. Here is the Aussie dollar. It's doing something very interesting. First of all, one thing to note is that we have a big, mean-looking reversal candle on this daily chart. This is just about a bearish engulfing candle, just shy of a bearish engulfing candle. And what we have here as well is right up around this area is the 50% fib on the bigger run that we've seen here. So this big move down of like 1,700 pips. Here's our 50% fib, and you can see that it looks like we're working on a pretty nice pin bar. We have a great shooting star in that weekly chart, and the daily chart's a big bearish candle. 4-hour chart, same situation. We have this nice shooting star right there. So it's all pretty bearish. But having said that, I think that there's a good chance for a little bit of a bounce, but there's opportunities for both directions, and let me show you what I'm talking about. Basically, 9,600 is our weekly pivot. It's our low from Friday back here. It's a nice little level. Daily support as well. Daily support 2 is right there. Our 200 moving average is running through that. A lot of good things are happening there. So this is a good spot for maybe just a little bit of a bounce. It might be a small one. It might be a big one, but we're going to keep an eye on this. Now, trading the break of 9,600 could give us a nice little run down into this bigger trend line, into this bigger channel right here. You can see on our daily chart we've got a nice little channel, and if we break 9,600, that should be a nice little run down into that. You know, for 35, 40 pips, and of course that could break, we can get a bigger run, but there's a quick 35 or 40 pips to trade on the break of 9,600. Now the thing that I don't like is whenever we have things like the 200 moving average overlapping the weekly pivot and the daily support on the daily pivots as well, this is a lot of support, and I think even if we did get a break of maybe 9,600, which is right here, I think it may only be able to run a couple of pips before it snaps up a little bit more. So I'm going to be very careful. I may trade a break of this support, but I'm not super excited about it if it does break. It could be a nice move, but I would just say be very, very cautious trading the break of 9,600 because of all that support. But it could still have a pretty nice run down. One thing that I'm looking at here is if we flip over to like the 15-minute chart, you can see that this high for the day to the low is about 150 pips, and we've kind of been double bottoming here just a little bit, and it looks like it's working its way into at least pretty good support for the moment. Now, something that I'm looking at is just the simple run of the potential 23 to 38% fib run. Now, if we get above this 23% fib, we have, you know, a 20 pip run to get into that 38. But I would be getting into this a little bit sooner. I'm watching this little descending trend line right here, and as we're getting this nice bottoming out pattern here just above 9,600, and we have this little descending trend line, I think if we get a break of this, we could, number one, get a move into that 23% fib, which would give us probably around 15 pips profit by the time we get there. And then if it crosses that 23% fib, we have a very good chance of it reaching that 38. So now this turns into a potential 40 pip trade to the upside. So I think we probably have, if we make a good clean break of this 9,600, which once again I'm a little bit skeptical of, we could see a nice 40 pip run down. Likewise, if we break this descending trend line right here and get probably above about 96.25, give or take area, we could see a nice little run of around 35 to 40 pips up into this 38% fib as well. So I'm just kind of looking at the short-term opportunities here, but I think they're pretty good, and I'm just leaning a little bit more towards a bounce off this 9,600 and a bit of a retracement up into 96.50, 96.75 area. Before this continues, potentially continues lower, which it might do. So that's what I'm looking for. I think there's a nice little opportunity here, and I wish everyone the best of luck, and go get some pips. Thanks, everybody.